Hello everyone and welcome to another Keep Safe on the Net video on YouTube. In this video we're going to revisit a scammer that I've already made a video about. A few weeks ago I brought you this tale, a tale of love, money, a mule, 3 continents and a fake famous musician. To see what would happen, another of my alter egos contacted this fake musician. As we go through this video, I'm going to give you a few hints about how to tell if you might be talking to a scammer, and you'll also see how I quite unintentionally found the Achilles heel of this Nigerian scammer. Mary emailed him and said, "I'm worried about you, you disappeared, are you all right?" He suggested they move to Hangouts, where almost immediately he started asking for a picture. I'm not entirely sure of the reason, but most scammers are very demanding about getting their victims to send them photos. Photos of themselves sitting, photos of themselves eating. I suspect possibly because they can use these to scam other victims. As we go through this video, you'll see that this scammer is constantly making demands of his potential victim. This is a warning. If you're talking to someone online and they're continually demanding, consider very carefully that you might be talking to a scammer. Mary sent him a photo of someone who doesn't actually exist and said, "Do you remember me? I know you meet a lot of people, so I won't be offended if you don't, LOL." To which the scammer replied, "Please, babe, you don't have to be worried or angry. I meet a lot of people every day and I'm so sorry if I forgot your face too early." There's another clue here that you might be talking to a scammer. Many scammers will repeatedly tell their potential victims not to be worried, not to be angry, or not to be stressed, even if it's completely irrelevant to what's been said before. If you watch the previous video, you'll see it was a while before the scammer started telling his victim that he was having issues with his relationship. This time, he got straight to the point. "I'm 51, from Nevada, I'm married, but I'm having issues with my relationship right now." Before long, he started telling Mary, "I don't even think we still have good women out there anymore. All the women I have met are always after my money. It's hurt me so much. I need true love." I think you might find he said almost exactly the same to Annie in the previous video. If the person that you're talking to online starts telling you a sob story, I very strongly suggest that you copy and paste some of it into Google. You may or may not be surprised by what you find. Scammers seem to have certain phrases that they ask their victims, and this is one of them. "What are you doing? Have you eaten?" Mary said yes, she'd already eaten, and she was tidying up her essential oils and herb cabinet. Mary is a spiritual lady, and she asked, "What's your favourite oil? I can light a candle for you on Thursday." Thursday being the day that he'd told her that he was going for his divorce hearing. And then he said, "What if I say I have started developing feelings for you right now?" Exactly the same phrase that he used to Annie a few weeks ago. To underline what I said about demanding photos, a few hours later he said, "Honey, please, if you have another beautiful picture of you, please send it to me. I want to look at your beautiful face before I sleep." When Mary didn't send him another photo, he then said, "Okay, babe, what about the picture?" Mary sent him another made-up photo, to which he said, "Honey, you look young too," and then started on another classic scammer technique, saying, "Honey, please, I do not want you to receive any request from anyone anymore. Whenever you get any request from anyone, please let me know, okay? Hope you understand, babe." Mary said, "What do you mean? What request?" And he said, "Someone trying to chat with you." And she said, "Oh, I thought you'd given my email to someone." He said, "I am very jealous and I do not want anyone to chat with you, please." Scammers try to stop their victims from telling friends and family who they're talking to, in the hope that friends and family won't be able to warn their victims that they're talking to a scammer. Be very wary if the person that you're talking to online tries to stop you from telling other people that you're talking to them. They talked about him coming over to be with Mary once his divorce was finalised, and talked about buying a house together. And then, another classic scammer technique, he started sending her ridiculous amounts of love emojis, hearts and kisses, and then poetic sayings. If the person that you're talking to goes all poetical on you, ask them if they wrote it themselves. Then copy and paste it into Google and see if you can find it online. If they say they wrote it themselves, and they've actually taken it from an online site of messages for your girlfriend, That's another clue that you're probably talking to a scammer. As in the previous video, the scammer told Mary that he wanted to send her a present and asked for her address. She gave him a made-up address with no postcode. And a few hours later he said, "Honey, I'm having issues with your address. Are you really sure the address you gave me is correct? Please send it me again." And she said, "I'm sorry, I don't understand. What do you mean you're having issues with my address? You haven't arrived without telling me you've come to the UK, have you?" And he said, "No, babe, I wanted to send you a small gift, so the address you gave to me is not that correct. Honey, I need your zip code and also the name of your state." Mary said, "You said you weren't going to send me anything, and the address is correct, but you have to know where to find us. Most of the delivery companies know where we are." And then added, "I'm in the UK. We don't have zip codes and states." I think I've already said that Mary is a very spiritual lady, and she had several times told this scammer that she felt that his aura was out of balance, and she was going to light a candle and use her essential oils to help bring him inner peace and harmony. And then I unintentionally found the Achilles heel of this African scammer when Mary started this conversation with him. Having told him that we don't use zip codes and states in the UK, she went on to say, "Are you okay? I sense your aura is out of balance. I think I need to make some special spells for you." Clearly that freaked our scammer, who said, "Honey, you just insulted me. It is not good." Mary said, "How did I insult you? I don't understand." So the scammer repeated what she'd said. "Are you okay? I sense your aura is out of balance. I think I need to make some special spells for you." He said, "Just look at what you say to me." She said, "That's not an insult. That's being kind and caring. You see, I'm right. Your aura is out of balance." Mary continued, "You aren't making sense. I'm worried about you now. You need to meditate. I'm sure you're worrying about Thursday. I'll light one of my special candles for you." Freaked, our scammer said, "Honey, why are you saying all this to me? What do you mean by special candles?" Mary supposedly went to view a house that they were considering buying together, and then said, "What time will you be going for your divorce hearing tomorrow? You will let me know what happens, won't you?" He said, "Sure, babe. I will always let you know how it goes, babe." So she said, "I'll be thinking of you and lighting one of my special candles." Well, we know he doesn't like this. He said, "Honey, you're always talking about the special candles. What is the meaning of that?" So Mary said, "I told you. I light them with my essential oils to balance people's auras and bring harmony to their lives." So the scammer said, "Are you a priestess?" Mary said, "No, I never felt the need to be." So again he asked, "What do you use the candle for? I mean the special candle." And she said, "Darling, I told you. I use them to balance people's auras and bring them harmony and peace. We all need more harmony in our lives, don't you think? They help align the chakras for inner balance." At this point, can I just apologise to any listeners who are spiritual? I was making this up as I go along, and so I realised that I may not have been using some of the terminology correctly. He then asked Mary, "Honey, what would you love me to buy for you when I am coming? Tell me anything you need, babe." Mary thought about it and said, "Do you know what I'd really like? I think aloe vera grows in Nevada. Does it? If it does, I'd love some aloe juice that has been blessed by a member of the local indigenous tribe." Freaked again, the scammer said, "Honey, what's all this? Are you kidding me? Honey, I really don't like the way you say things at times." And Mary said, "No, it would be so amazing to have some. It would have such positive vibrations." So the scammer said, "Honey, please ask me for another thing, please." And Mary said, "You aren't a calm, spiritual being, are you?" The scammer then went back to trying to demand pictures again, saying, "Honey, the pictures you sent to me, I mean your personal pictures, those are studio pictures." Mary said, "Yes, they are. My friend in Glastonbury takes them. She's good, isn't she?" "Yes," baby said. "Do you have any picture you took at home?" When that didn't work, he said, "Honey, I said you should send me a picture of you before you leave the house. Do you understand that?" Mary said, "I'm sorry, I have to go, and don't be pushy. I hate pushy men. Do you understand that? I'm not 5 years old. You sound like my mother. Go to bed." He said, "Honey, you don't understand me. If you truly love me, you would do what I ask you to do for me. Since you can't take a selfie picture of you and send it to me, then send me a picture of you at home. That is what I need, babe." This scammer is very pushy and a bully. I have more than one alter ego, so for a bit of fun and to see what the scammer would say, Mary emailed her friend for advice and said, "Can you help me? I've met this lovely man online. His name is Eric, but he seems to have a split personality. Sometimes he's sweet and kind, and sometimes he's rude and pushy and just horrible. I've tried my candles and made some special potions for peace, but it doesn't seem to work. What can I do for him?" So her friend emailed back and said, "Hello, darling. It's so lovely to hear from you. I've always said you're vulnerable when it comes to men, haven't I? Have you actually met him? What's his aura like? You're so sensitive. I'm sure you'd know what he needs. How does he behave when he's with you?" Mary replied to her friend saying, "Oh, thank goodness you're at home. Can I phone you? No, I haven't met him. We're talking online. His aura from the autosphere," which is something I completely made up, "is diminished, and I've been trying to help bring him inner peace. He got very upset when I told him I was going to try a spell. That's such a shame, because you know we have some lovely spell shops here in Glasgow." Mary had told the scammer that she lives in Glastonbury. "Something's wrong, and I can't put my finger on it." So her friend replied, "Darling, if you haven't met him, just be careful. The autosphere might not be fully tuned to his vibrations. You need to meet him in person to know what he needs." Mary took screenshots of this conversation and showed them to the scammer, saying, "She thinks I can't help you fully until I meet you. I think she's right." Do you remember that earlier in the video I said one of the signs that you're talking to a scammer is that they try to prevent you from telling anyone else that you're talking to them? The scammer wasn't happy that Mary had been talking to a friend and said, "Honey, I've told you never to let anyone know about me. It is not good." So Mary said, "I didn't tell her who you were, silly. She doesn't need to know that." And then the scammer immediately went back to asking her for a picture, saying, "Honey, please send me a picture of you. Please, babe. Please, babe." Mary started getting upset and said, "I'm getting so confused. I hate it when you're being pushy and it's so hard to explain. My friend Sel understands, but I can't explain it to you. Would it help if I sent you a screenshot of what she said?" And so Mary went off to email her friend again, and they had this conversation. She said to her friend, "He still wants photos. You know I can't do that after what happened in Frome Market. What do? I don't want to lie to him, but I can't tell him about Eldred. Do you have any advice? I might have to ring you again. So sorry to be such a nuisance." Her friend replied, "Darling, I'm sure he'd understand. Just tell him that Eldred wasn't the kind of man you thought he was, and he used your photos in a way that was inappropriate. I'm sure he'll understand. If he's a caring man, he'll wait till he meets you. Did you send him those photos that Elsie took? She does take such beautiful photos, and because they're just headshots, it's harder for people like Eldred to misuse them. Just be patient with him. He sounds like he needs harmony." So finally the scammer said, "Honey, yes, I understand that. Just calm down, babe. Honey, what are you doing?" Another classic scammer technique. Scammers are often talking to several potential victims at the same time. So to save them having to remember what the previous conversation was, they will start each conversation with the general questions such as, "What are you doing? Did you have a nice night? How are you this morning?" Another thing to watch out for, if the person that you're talking to starts each conversation with a short, meaningless question that's unrelated to what you've talked about before, again, just consider that you might be talking to a scammer. The day of his divorce hearing arrived, and unsurprisingly, his wife claimed everything, just as she did in the previous video, and he sent me long messages, word for word what he'd sent in the previous video, and said, "Right now, the total money I need for the court case is £11,000, but I don't have up to the full amount, baby. I just need £3,500 so that the money will be correct." A cut price divorce, because in the last video he asked for £7,000. Hopefully he's reduced the amount he's asking for because very few people are falling victim to him. As before, he then sent full details of a money mule in the States, and as before, I reported the details of that account to the bank. Mary claimed she'd sent the money, and the scammer then went back to being pushy and bullying, saying, "Thank you so much, babe. Honey, please send me payment proof. I need the payment receipt so that I can send it to my attorney." Mary said, "I don't have a receipt. I just did an online transfer." And he replied, "Honey, please just show me something." Followed by, "Honey, please check your online transaction receipt. Honey, I have to give this to my attorney as a proof of payment. Please try and understand me, babe. Honey, please, you should understand me. I am not a baby. Just show me evidence of payment." Mary swore at him and stopped talking to him. Please be careful out there, guys. There are lots of clues in this video to help you decide whether or not the person that you're talking to online is a scammer. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please like it, please share it, please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another Keep Safe on the Net video on YouTube.